Welcome to the Evviva Experience, a podcast for women facing the emotional and psychological fuckery of midlife. Hi there, lady. My name is Sarah Tuckett, and I am a somatic psychotherapist and dance movement therapist based in Brisbane. Let's get on with the show. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about being yourself and what stops us, and why Jennifer Coolidge, the actress, is my personal heroine. Today, an interesting, emotionally intelligent and vibrant woman told me that she feared people would judge her hobbies as boring, and that the judgment of others would dim the joy that she felt in doing these activities. Now, she adores these hobbies. She finds flow and joy from doing them. And when she does them, she is being really herself. Like many of us, though, she feared it was not okay to be herself. And many people ask me this in therapy. What they're really asking me, is it okay to be me? Will people still like me and accept me if I am being myself? Now, I have these thoughts myself all the time. For example, last Christmas, an elder female in my family, who is not my mother, miraculously, scoffed when I told her what I had written on my internet dating profile. I put that I like dancing and playing the cello and animals, and she replied, "Oh my God, you sound like a nerd. No wonder you're still single." And I acutely felt the sting of her judgment that my hobbies were not cool enough for her, that it was not okay to be myself. But thankfully, I have a well-developed sense of self from years of therapy with amazing therapists, so I was able to tell her to take a running jump. So I would say that a key part of therapy is learning that it is okay to be yourself. Accepting all those parts of you, even the parts that you don't really like, those bits that you might have inherited from your mom or your dad. That it's okay to be yourself. That it's okay and rather wonderful to be unapologetically you. So I'm going to tell you about my heroine, Jennifer Coolidge, the actress. You might have seen her in White Lotus, or she was Stifler's mum, and she was the bend and snap lady in Legally Blonde. She's kooky, she's weird, she's unapologetically herself. And in her Golden Globes acceptance speech earlier this year, Jennifer spoke about how she started out with these big dreams that ended up being fizzled by life. But thankfully for me, she never gave up and she never stopped being herself. People adore her just for being her. And I want to tell you that I suspect the same is true for you. The more you are being yourself, the more you will truly be feeling seen and loved for who you are. So why do we stop being ourselves? It's often because of beliefs formed in childhood. Formative experiences in our childhood and perhaps young adulthood shape our beliefs about ourselves based on the reactions of others, family, friends, other people in our lives. You modify your behavior. You carefully curate the parts of yourself that are shown to the outside world. So my question to you is, did you have to behave in a certain way to get love and acceptance as a child? It's highly likely that little you made an unconscious decision to behave in a certain way in order to secure more love. Shutting down or alienating all the parts of you that didn't result in love or attention or acceptance. So shoving them down. This little part of you learns quickly that these parts of me are lovable and these parts are not. So it's like we put on a mask of acceptability to others, and these other parts of us are hidden on the inside. But not only does it get exhausting wearing a mask, it can feel like you are living out of alignment with your real self. And what's more, because only the mask parts are seen, they are the only parts that receive love. So the other parts are you left feeling unseen, unloved, and unappreciated. So the reasons, just to recap, that you might hide parts of yourselves: fear of rejection, fear of being thrown out of the family because you're not accepted, fear of not being loved, or maybe fear of getting into trouble. But what you discover in therapy is that these beliefs are not necessarily true anymore. These beliefs were formed when you were younger, when you were children, when you had a lot less skills and resources. But what you may not realize is that you are still operating from these internal beliefs now as an adult, and that you actually might be able to do something differently. And there are also these external pressures to not be yourself. The pressure to conform to societal norms. We internalize them and they drip, drip, drip into your subconscious mind, shaping how you feel your life should look, how you should act, how you should be. A lot of women tell me they feel the pressure to achieve and live up to the ideal of your best self, whatever that is, and to be constantly improving yourself. It can feel like you're never enough. Well, lady, I'd like to sit you down and tell you that you are enough just by existing on this planet. Your mere presence probably makes the world a better place. There's also a pressure these days to find your purpose in life. And there's this Japanese concept called ikigai. I hope I pronounced that right. But it's about living a life of meaning and purpose. And that's all right if you know what your purpose is, if you're pretty clear on that. But if you don't know what your purpose is, holy hell, that is a lot of pressure. So let's see if we can just take that pressure off for a minute. Oh, and let's not forget the pressure not to be single. I was single for over 10 years. And every single year, as each big cultural celebration rolled around, I became acutely aware again of my singledom. And I felt somehow defective for being single. But the reality was I was actually thriving. I was loving life. And there's actually a lot of evidence that women are happier when they're single. We enjoy our freedom, and we usually have strong, supportive social networks that stop us from feeling lonely. And you know the word spinster? That is bandied around as an insult. But did you know that actually in past times, a spinster was someone who could make her own money from spinning wool? So in a time when a woman's fortune was acutely attached to the man that she married, these ladies didn't need to marry because they had their own money. So they could choose to be married or not. That's right, ladies. She was the original independent woman. So bow down to the spinster. And if someone calls you spinster, say thank you very much. And also probably fuck off. Being a spinster is a positive thing. It means you are self-sufficient and you can choose which person you want to bring into your life, if they're good enough. And hopefully, of course, they come bearing chocolate. There's also the pressure to have children. Do you want children? What does it mean if you don't? Is that okay? One woman told me, I'm single and I don't have children, and it feels like everyone around me is having babies and marrying. And if I don't do that, I have to be excellent in my career because otherwise, who am I? What's my value? Now, those words were spoken by one of my favorite people, and I have her permission to read those aloud to you today. She's intelligent and she has a career and an academic success that most of us would kill for. But she too fears that she is not enough. That just being herself is not enough. She has to do more and more and more and more. Yet I know for a fact that her existence in the world brightens the day of her family and her partner, and mine too. And I wish she could feel that. And let's not forget, as we age, the pressure to always appear youthful. Thankfully, several influential mature women are rebelling against these ridiculous pressures. For example, Helen Mirren daring to have long, luscious silver hair at the age of 77 instead of conforming to the regulation no more than shoulder-length hair for anyone over age 60. And supermodel Paulina Porizkova refusing to be silent and invisible, showing the world that a 58-year-old woman is still attractive and sensual and sexual. Thank the Lord. So I'd like to propose a different way of thinking. I'd like to suggest that it is enough that you be yourself. It is enough that you brighten the days of those around you just by being here, just by being yourself. That you are lovable. That all parts of you are lovable. So I'll leave you with this quote from Bridget Jones. To Bridget, who cannot cook, but who we love, just as she is. Thank you for listening to today's podcast. I have a question for you. How do you want to feel today? Powerful, playful, or present? Download my free guide, Feel Your Va-Va-Voom in 60 seconds, and find out how. Bye!